I'm not going to talk about relationships today. I want to talk about something else. Not that relationships aren't important, because they definitely are. But I want to talk about life. Just life in general, and purpose, and what we're put here to do. I travel quite a bit for my job. It keeps me constantly moving, which I enjoy. I found that I don't like, I'm not the person you want coming in 9 hours a day and sitting in a cubicle looking at a computer. That just doesn't suit me. So I need constant mental stimulation. I like to be on the go. But anyway, about a week ago, I was heading out to New Orleans. I left this area probably about, 7 something in the morning. And I just, if you live here, you know how crazy the traffic can be. The traffic obviously was bad when I was leaving the city, and it was bad when I got down into New Orleans. And then later that evening, it was just as bad, leaving New Orleans and then getting back into the city. But my point is, it made me think about what we do with our time, how we spend our time, how we spend our lives. And I think about this kind of stuff a lot. I'm always on the go, like I said, so it gives me a lot of time to think. And I was just thinking about all the people that I see in these cars sitting in traffic, me one of them, how many of them are going to jobs that they don't even particularly care for? They're going to jobs to live, basically, to take care of their bills, take care of their families, do a few things for entertainment every now and then, but mostly just to sustain their lifestyles. And if you think about it, you spend the majority of your life at your job. And some of us don't even like our jobs, don't like the people at our jobs. And just think about that for a second. You spend the majority of your time doing something that you do not like, with people you do not like. And I don't know about you, but when I think about things like that, it's kind of depressing that you're going to do this stuff, for 30, 40 years, and eventually, hopefully, retire and be able to retire and live out your last 10, 15, maybe 20 years, and then you out of here. That doesn't seem like a good deal to me. To spend all of my adult life working, spending it doing something that I don't particularly care for and I am not all that interested or passionate about, and to wait for when I'm old to retire and hopefully, get a chance to live some of the life that I missed by working. That doesn't seem like a very good deal to me. I don't know how you particularly look at it, but it doesn't seem like a good deal to me. And it's definitely something that probably started about, if I'm honest, about over 10 years ago, with me looking at the prospect of that. Jobs I worked at before, there had been guys there that had been there for 25, 30. I think there was a guy that had been there for 34, 35 years. Just think about that. And at that point, I think he was probably in his early 60s. Dude has spent just about his entire adult life going, and at that point, I couldn't stand what I was doing. I was miserable doing something that, and I don't know, never really asked me if he enjoyed it. I guess we never had that kind of conversation, but still, I don't know if there's anything, even if I enjoyed it, there's any one thing I want to do for 35 years besides breathing. That's not, like I said, I need constant stimulation. But back to my point. I know we all have to do something to survive in this life, because this society that we live in is all about bills, and you got to be able to pay your bills. You got to be able to put food on the table, provide for your family. But there has to be another way to go about it than to do something that you don't care for, that you're gonna spend 3/4 of your waking hours doing. Well, probably more than that. Let's see, you spend 8 sleeping, 8 at work, and then you get your last few at home. But then, I don't know. It just doesn't seem like a very good deal to me. And it leads me to want something more. I know I can't be the only one out there that looks at it like that. Maybe I am. Because I don't know. Maybe a lot of people just don't think the way I think. I mean, I'm sure that's probably the case, but I would imagine that at some point, while you spending half hour, 45 minutes out of your day in the morning to go to work in traffic, and then you're spending another half hour, 45, sometimes more than that, depending on where you live around here. If you live on the outskirts of this city, you probably taking another, and if you're coming from down in the city, you're going to take another hour, maybe hour and 15 to get back to wherever it is you live. Just think about that. How much of that time adds up? How much of your life that is? And in many cases, to go do something that you don't even want to do, you don't even like to do. You're doing it because you have to. Now, these days, I don't do anything I don't want to do. Now, I'll do some things that I have to do, and it's a fine distinction. But I don't do anything I don't want to do. But I do, like everybody else, I do a few things I have to do. But there's already a plan in motion to get me out of the things that I have to do. I only want a life where I'm doing what I want to do. It seems the only way to me that makes sense to live this life, to do things you want to do. Because I've said it many times on these videos. This is the only one you're going to get. And I've spent far too much of my life and time doing things that I didn't want to do to appease other people. But I don't subscribe to that theory anymore. This is all about this is mine. This is the only one I'm going to get. I don't know what you believe in, but I don't think we coming back here. Whether you're spiritual, you believe in heaven, hell, whatever you believe in. But I think this is the only incarnation you're going to be in this physical plane. And I intend to enjoy as much of this as I possibly can. And doing something with 2/3 of my waking hours that I don't want to do doesn't seem like a good deal to me. So I've started making plans to get myself out of this, and which I should have done years ago. But, you get sidetracked with life sometimes, but it's definitely in the works. There's too much of this world I want to see. Too many things I haven't experienced. Too many places I want to go. To just resign myself to this. Well, this is how it's gonna be. I'm gonna sit in traffic. I'm gonna sit in traffic every day, 5 days a week, waiting for Friday evening to come around, so I get a few hours. Get my Saturday and half of my Sunday. Because by the time 6 o'clock rolling around on Sunday, you dreading having to go to bed so you can get up and get back at it on Monday. That's no life. That, to me, I can only speak for myself. That is not a life that, for me, leads to long-term happiness, and it's not one that I plan to subscribe to very much longer. I want to do something that that inspires me, that motivates me, makes me want to get up in the morning. I mean, how many of you are actually, the prospect of going back to that place, to sit in traffic, to go somewhere, sit in traffic, and nobody likes sitting in traffic. So you're sitting in traffic miserable, to go to a place that you're miserable, to be around people you probably don't particularly care for, that you tolerate because you're doing what you got to do. That doesn't seem like a good deal to me. So I'm making plans to get out of that and only do what I want to do. That seems to me to be the only sensible way to live this life. Because I'm coming up on a half century. I'll be 50 years old next year. And I don't know, black men, we get about 75 years, I think is our lifespan. So I don't have time to waste, especially doing something I don't want to do. It's not going to be the plan going forward. I can put it that way. But I don't know. It was just something I was thinking about. Now, I don't know how other people look at these type of things, but I definitely look at life different. And I believe it started about 10 years ago. But I got sidetracked by some things, but I'm here now. And it's time to make that move. So, hopefully I'm not the only one. I can't be the only one. I can't be the only one that sits in traffic and be like, man, this ain't it. This cannot be what my life is going to be. Can't be. I don't believe it. I don't accept it. So, anyway, till next time.